The shadow is a dynamic aspect of being. It's not to be severed or transcended. All light gives off a shadow. So it's intrinsic in the nature of the way the universe works. So it's not really about dominating it or getting rid of it or getting rid of something about yourself. It's more like a dance, something that you learn to do gracefully, because there really is no end. There's no end. So take a deep breath and realize that we're all doing this. All of nature is doing this. So it's more about a dancing lesson than anything else. Dancing with the shadow. And shadow patterns come up so that you can learn to dance with it in a new way. Talking about the shadow, it's kind of a slippery subject. It's hard to define and pin down just exactly what it is when people talk about shadow work. It's this interior space that is designated and compartmentalized into an aspect of consciousness. And why is it important to come into contact with that and get to know it? What does it even mean? And just like with a lot of other subjects, it's all about process, movement, learning, growth, dynamic integration to be a whole, complete being who is not fractured and severed and traumatized to the point where they are divided. It's more about unification. And the work isn't necessarily pleasant, but this is just something that's more of a permanent fixture in reality, the light and the shadow. Shadow work is working with energy in the body. It has to be. It's the only way for it to be processed and moved. I look at shadow work a lot like bringing the different shrapnel pieces of your being back together and collecting it back together again so that you can function as more of a holistic being, having all of that energy called back to you and available and moving.
Why we block our creative energy. As we go through the painful experiences of our lives, we automatically try to not feel the pain. We have done this since childhood. We cut off our physical pain by withdrawing our consciousness from the part of our body that is in pain. We cut off our mental and emotional anguish by tensing our muscles and repressing it into our unconscious. We create all kinds of distractions in our lives to take our attention away from it. We project our problems onto someone else and worry about them rather than trying to solve our own problems. We either misdirect or depress great amounts of energy in order to keep ourselves from feeling pain, including what we feel in the moment and being who we are in the moment. We think the only possible way to stop all this pain is to stop the energy flow that contains the pain. There are specific energy flows that contain physical pain, emotional pain, and mental pain. Unfortunately, this energy flow also contains everything else. Pain is only part of it. When we stop the negative experience of pain, anger, or fear of any negative situation, we also stop the positive experience, including the physical, emotional, and mental aspects of that experience. We may not even be aware of this process because by the time we have reached the age of reason, we do it habitually. We wall off our wounds. By walling off our wounds, we also wall off our connection to our deeper center or core. Since the creative process comes from the creative core within us, we have also walled off our creative process. We have literally walled off the deeper part of ourselves from our conscious awareness and our exterior life. Feel
watch it grow. Give it time, give it space, gonna watch it grow. Give it time, give it space, gonna watch it grow. Good, I'm good, 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 I'm good, I'm good, good, I'm good.
You are accountable to yourself, and it's the most important person you are accountable to primarily. And when you take care of yourself, everything else falls into alignment around you. It all snaps together.
Got the tears gonna lock you away. Feel it in my blood, feel it in my bones.
So when we experience big changes in our life, these are like surface waves from deeper fissures that have created an energy wave, a movement from deep below. They aren't coming out of nowhere. They're rising to the surface and creating ripples and waves and shift on your life. But that is what nature does. That is what you are. Change. Everything changes. The rocks in the riverbed that never get the water anymore, they need to be tumbled. They need to be turned. The water needs to come up high enough for those rocks to be able to go through that tumbling process. It's kind of like what we are. We need to be tumbled, turned over, rolled around, impacted by the elements of everything that this planet has to offer. Winds of change, great floods of emotion, all these things, the spiritual fire, rebirth, all of that is all connected. So just look at it that way. It's okay if things are changing. That's what we're here to do, right? Along with nature.